You've been trained to be broke, the lies school taught you about money. Whoa, that is a huge claim, so let's unpack what's really behind it.
So let's start with the big question that this whole idea is built on. I mean, just really think about this for a second. What if the very system that's supposed to get us ready for the real world was actually teaching us the total opposite of what it takes to be financially successful?
And this leads us to the core premise, a pretty provocative idea they call being trained to fail. But we're not talking about failing a math test or getting a bad report card. Nope, we're talking about being trained systematically to fail at building real, actual wealth.
Right, so here's the key. The argument is that the whole point of our modern school system was never really to create a bunch of rich entrepreneurs. It was actually designed way back during the Industrial Revolution to pump out exactly what the economy needed most: good, reliable, rule-following employees.
So how in the world does this training actually work? Well, it's not in the official curriculum. You won't find it in a textbook. It's all taught through a set of unspoken, kind of hidden rules that run the entire classroom experience.
And here's the biggest, most powerful hidden rule of them all. You are taught from day one to be absolutely terrified of making mistakes. I mean, think about it, right? You get a question wrong, big red X. You fail a test, you get a bad grade. You are just conditioned over and over to believe that mistakes are bad and should be avoided no matter what.
And this quote just perfectly captures the massive disconnect. Because out here in the real world of business and, life, mistakes aren't just okay. They are essential. They're feedback. They're how you figure things out. School teaches you to fear them, but reality pretty much demands you make them. And you can see how this fear of mistakes creates the perfect good employee mindset. It's almost like a program. When you're scared of being wrong, you don't take risks. You just wait for the boss or the teacher to tell you exactly what to do. You follow the rules, no questions asked, and you're always searching for that one single right answer.
Okay, so this brings us to what might be the most controversial idea from this source material: the huge difference between what it calls fake teachers and real teachers. Now, before we go any further, let's be super clear about this definition. A fake teacher in this context is not a bad person. It's not someone who doesn't care. It's simply someone who teaches theory without ever having done it in the real world. Like a business professor who's never actually started a business, or a personal finance teacher who's only ever earned a steady paycheck. And this side-by-side comparison, this is really the heart of the whole argument. The contrast is just night and day, right? Fake teachers teach theory. Real teachers teach from their own experience. One works for a safe salary. The other is usually out there on their own. And here is the real kicker. Fake teachers punish you for mistakes, while real teachers know that mistakes are just the tuition you pay for a real-world education. Okay, so if we've been programmed with all these mindsets, what are we supposed to do? Is it a lost cause? Well, the good news is, no, it's not permanent. The next step is all about actively unlearning your financial training. So here's a simple 3-step game plan to start that untraining process. First, you've got to start questioning all those beliefs you have about money and risk and failure. Second, go find your real teachers. Find mentors who have actually done the thing you want to do. And number 3, probably the hardest one, you have to consciously embrace failure. See it not as some shameful end, but as a crucial, necessary part of learning anything worthwhile. And that really brings us to the final thought here, a question that I think is worth sitting with for a bit. The school system gave us our first teachers, sure, but from here on out, the choice is entirely yours. Your education is your responsibility now. So the real question is, who are you going to choose to learn from? Who will be your real teacher?